So I'm the chairman of Laureus Sport for Good Foundation in the United States of America, a nonprofit organization that transforms the lives of youth through sport, through the power of sport. And as an Olympic gold medalist, I have seen the power that we have to transform sports on a global level. And sports offers more than just the physical health and well-being aspects. They provide valuable life skills and have a positive impact on one's personal, social, and emotional development. So I'm here today to talk about the positive impact of sports on the lives of youth and reflect a bit on the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, adopted by the United Nations. SDGs, they are, as they're called, and there's 17 of them that are listed in this slide, aim to transform our world. They are a call to action to end poverty and inequality, to protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy health, justice, and prosperity. So I believe that youth participation in sports helps us all in achieving these goals, and there's many ways to attack the many problems that are out there. And it's important for stakeholders to recognize that if this sector is going to unlock the necessary funding and policy, we have to understand that these goals are attainable. I'd like to start with a quote from Laureus's founding patron, a man that I met and had the opportunity to be on the stage behind him when he made these famous words.
Has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does.
This speech was made at the first annual World Sports Awards in Monaco in the year 2000. Some of my esteemed colleagues, one of which was in that picture, Nawal El Mutawakel, was the first Olympic champion in the women's 400 hurdles in Los Angeles. She became the sports minister of Morocco, and she was the first African woman, Muslim woman, and Islamic woman to win a gold medal in a running event in the Olympic Games. So these are the type of colleagues that we work with. Everyone knows the story of President Mandela, 27 years in incarceration, fighting for the rights of South Africa, the South African people, and against apartheid. And he understood that sports was a catalyst for change and that they could bring people together in a way that transcended race. The speech is about 4 minutes long. If you ever want to hear the rest of it, it's an outstanding speech. You can find it on YouTube. So let's talk about 3 of the SDGs and how sport can help. We know that sports can promote good health and well-being. That's a natural. We all know that sports is good for people's health and well-being. It makes you feel good and so forth. Physical activity is an essential part of a healthy lifestyle. A lot of us have really come to understand that after the last 2 years of being locked up in the house. So many more people are out on the streets and working out than ever before in my life. So we understand that physical activity is a very important platform for developing healthy habits at any age, not to mention for young people. We use sports at Laureus to help solve many inequalities that exist around the world, and some of these are not really apparent. For example, in Germany, when the wall came down in Germany, we found that there was a disparity in the way that East German kids that lived in Berlin, for example, or moved to the West, were treated in terms of resources, sports, play, education, and so forth. We also found in Italy, for example, and in Spain, and in Portugal, that there were many immigrant kids that came from North Africa that were integrated into society. They came on boats with their parents, both legally and illegally, and they weren't really getting the same opportunities as the local kids, so we set up programs to help deal with that as well. So there's a variety of ways in which sport can be used. We try to find ways that are very creative that kind of work against the normality or the way that logically you would think about it. Racism, children with AIDS at the World Championships of football, soccer in South Africa. We took 200 kids to the World Cup. It was only a practice game with England and Rooney versus a South African team. We took 200 of them. All of them had no parents. Their parents had died from AIDS. And for them, going to a practice game was like going to the World Cup itself. And the stadium was as loud when they broke out those vuvuzelas, those little horns. We couldn't even hear ourselves. So we deal with all types of issues at Laureus, and there's very, very creative ways to do that. Sports are a great teacher. At programs supported by Laureus, we work in tandem with education to bolster life skills. Participation in sports requires leadership skills, collaboration, dedication, and teamwork, all of which are essential skills for success. And we have found a way to partner up. We try not to reinvent the wheel, to invent the wheel. We find people in the communities in which we serve that are doing the job, and we partner with them. So we're never responsible. We are responsible for the outcome, but we're never completely responsible for the solution because we don't always know. So one of our strengths has been to find people who are doing a better job than we could ever do and partner with them. We've dealt with everything. And one of the components, when we talk about education, one of the components that we always incorporate into our programs is education in some way. It can be dealing with teenage pregnancy. It could be dealing with mental health crisis among teenagers. It could deal with crime. We've done projects that deal with crime. So we find a way to incite leadership, to make our clients, our kids, responsible, and to make them put up before they can and deliver in order to get involved in our projects in many cases. So STEM is one of the big areas in which we try to instruct kids. STEM and computer, being able to use computer literacy, and getting them in front of computers when they may not have one at home. Finally, sports can promote sustainable cities and communities. When I came to Morehouse, I was on the track team, but there was nowhere for me to run. Going all the way back to the beginning of my track career in Dayton, Ohio, back in the late 60s and early 70s, there was a government program called Model Cities. And all the kid had to do was get to the park. And in the park, we had teachers who were out for the summer. We had physical education teachers, art teachers, music teachers, science teachers, coaches to coach baseball, basketball, almost everything. And all a kid had to do was to get to the park. So I'm very well aware that sometimes these safe spaces have not existed. Some of the projects that we've done in really hard cities like Chicago, where there's rivaling gangs and the kids are like right in the middle, we've been able to get truces with these gangs to allow the kids to go to a location which is right in the middle of everyone's turf and allow that to be a safe space. So that's one of the very important things that we are able to make happen. Space is also a limiting factor, creating space and finding people who can collaborate and develop a cohort to come together to provide space that is available for an entire community versus just one project. We've been able to get these cohorts together of group leaders that actually share resources. They share buses, they share assembly rooms, they share computers, they share all kinds of resources. And our strategic cities, which exist in Atlanta, New Orleans, Chicago, and New York, all have that component. So there's many different ways to attack what we're all trying to attack. So the benefits of sports are not a given. We have to really think positively, and we have to think creatively and make something happen. So we need to ensure that sports programs are accessible, inclusive, and intentionally designed to promote fair play, respect, and teamwork. Those are the three or four things. And one last note that we know that all kids know, they know about fair play, they know about equity. Fair play is very easy to teach. If you take 3-year-olds and put them on a line and have them run to the other side of the room, and you put 3 of them back here on the line, and you put 1 of them in front of the line, they automatically understand the concept of fair play. And we tend to teach it that way. So all of these aspects that we as Olympians use, we try to impart on young people all over the world. And so we forge these connections with our project leaders. people who are doing the work and able to assist each other. Coach trainings, collaborative action works, and resource sharing opportunities are effective tools in ensuring that these connections are being made, programs are being built stronger, and leaders are being developed. So as we work toward achieving some of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, it's important to remember that we all have a crucial role to play. The saying goes that it takes a family to raise a village. It takes a village to raise a family, and we all exist within the same village, and there's so much work for us to do. So thank you for having me back at the 10th year anniversary. I hope everyone has a great time here. Thank you.